It's fitting that we did a Doctor Who video yesterday, because today we can talk about a time-traveling figure. This is the Power of the Prime's Optimus Prime, a leader-class figure with a truly unique gimmick, a deluxe-class Orion Pax that will form the head and torso of this massive Optimus. I'll be honest, the weakest mode of this toy is the vehicle mode. I mean, it's kind of cool that it is the cab and trailer at this point. We hadn't really had this in generations before, so even though nowadays we have the Earthrise and we have all these other Optimus Primes that have their proper trailers, this would have been kind of cool at the time. That said, the truck and the trailer both are super rough. Here's the truck mode. Thankfully, when the trailer's on, you can't notice just how bad the back looks. Without it, though, really fun thing. That's Orion Pax's head. He's forming the trailer hitch. In terms of the trailer itself, it's panely. There's this ugly sticker. Another bad thing about Power of the Primes, for some reason, John Warden was like, you know what would make these toys really cool and vintage feeling? Stickers. They don't. They make the toys feel cheap, and the stickers peel too easily. You can see it's already peeling there, and I just got this guy out of the box. The only thing I can say in defense of this is this toy does so much with two separate robot modes that do feel so unique from each other that they were kind of willing to sacrifice the vehicle mode. If you want to see a version of this toy or a version of this idea with a great vehicle mode, look at Rodimus. Rodimus had a beautiful vehicle mode, but then his robot mode suffered. You have to choose one or the other. Personally, I always think, let the vehicle mode suffer, let the robot modes really stand out. But let's pull this trailer out of here, because we are about to transform this guy. So, we have the cab here, like I said, bit of a mess, but we're going to just fold up these wheels first off, boop, and then we are going to just fully get these arms rotated out, like so. Get all that moved, and we can go ahead and form the chest and head of Orion Pax. Fold out the legs, rotate them around, fold out his little feet, boop, and boop. You can see it's not a very complicated transformation. It really is just kind of rearranging parts. I did mess something up though. We gotta get these side panels folded out and sent around to the back. Oop, there we go. There is a bit of a snap to do it, but you can get them there. And then boom, boom. You have our very tall, very somewhat awkward looking boy. When this figure first came out, this was the appeal for a lot of people. We were going to get the proper Floro-Deary version of Orion Pax with the proper head, with all the weird design aspects, a very rounded off and, let's be honest, not very transformery looking robot mode. I love this still. We've had different Orion Paxes. We've arguably had better Orion Paxes since then. This is still a really solid one, though. Looking over his articulation, we have a ball joint at the head. We have a universal at the shoulder. A good double-jointed elbow that can actually go both ways, weirdly enough. An upper arm cut. You are able to go up and down with the wrist, but they are very easy to pop out of place. Nothing in the waist, but a universal at the hip with the armor moving out of the way. You have an upper leg cut, a good single jointed knee, and a toe flap. The best part about this Optimus, though, is the head. This is a great looking Orion Pax. I love how they got the chest details. This is a good figure, roughly Voyager sized. Obviously there's been some sacrifices made, but it works. A good Orion. For the sake of my own interest, here he is alongside the Legacy United Orion Pax. This would have been the birth of a Hero 2-pack set. As much as I do like this Orion, I do think the Voyager does look better. That said, he doesn't have a Dion and Ariel to go with him, does he? Looking at some more radical departures from the original Orion Pax design, here he is alongside the Thrilling 30 IDW Orion, as well as the Transformers 1 Prime Changer Orion. I wasn't going to do this comparison, but I'm kind of glad I did. Here he is alongside Studio Series Transformers 1 Optimus Prime, and I didn't realize how much of TF1's design still comes from this G1 Orion, but look, how the chest window is shaped, some of the proportions, the stockier build, that's all straight from G1 Orion, isn't it? kind of cool to see this design have such a profound impact on this new design that's been made, 40 years after the fact. Now, I love Orion's look. I do really enjoy just the presence of this figure, but I would point out his articulation is not exactly up to snuff. He's missing a lot of the more common bits of articulation we would expect in a Transformer nowadays, but the more important thing is his build quality. This figure is very loose. His legs are okay, but once you get down to his toes, these are so wibbly wobbly. Same thing with the elbows and the wrists. It's a thing where I don't think this guy's going to ever fall apart necessarily, but it's going to be very hard to get him into a proper stance. More on that later with Optimus Prime. But before we get to that, we do have a handful of accessories we can use with Orion. You have the Matrix of Leadership. Unfortunately, he really doesn't have a proper way to hold it. It's a shame. When we get to Optimus, we'll at least be able to put it somewhere, but not so much when you're with Orion. We also have this massive rifle. It's going to look good for a leader-sized Optimus, but for a Voyager-sized Orion, that is almost comically oversized. Jesus. Alright, that's been a lot of Orion talk. Why don't we actually look at him as Optimus Prime? To get him there, we're going to flip out a different head. Boop. Put Orion Pax's head. Oop, come on, buddy. Fold in. Fold in. Oh, that is very tight, my word. Oh, there we go. And then we have the Optimus Prime head. Oh, he looks very goofy on this body. Okay, I just wanted to see that real quick. And now we do have the chest already where it needs to be. We're going to have this much larger chest for this Optimus. You can see that's what the actual windshield of the truck looks like. We kind of give a fake one so that we can properly size this Optimus up. We're going to fold the legs around. Boop, fold the feet in. And these legs are essentially going to form a bit of a back piece just to really secure everything in. What we're going to do, boop, is take this little tab here on the leg and just plug it right there around that yellow belly button underneath the windshield. Boop, we have the leg secured. We're going to flip down these hands, boop, and boop. And then, where do we put the arms? I forget. Do we just put them there, maybe? I'm going to say let's try that, and if it doesn't work, we'll look at the directions. But that is the torso block of Optimus. Now we got the trailer back in, and the trailer is actually pretty wild, all things considered. We're just going to start by taking apart the roof, boop. And that's going to help us separate what will be the arms from what will be the legs. So I'm going to go ahead and fold the arms up, but let's focus on these legs real quick. So, go ahead and take these blue doors, fold them all the way down. Those will be the feet. And now we have these gray panels. Fold them in, like so. Oop. So I mentioned earlier about build quality. You're seeing it more and more happen now. I try to move a panel and it just snaps out. It doesn't break, but it does make it a bit difficult to actually get things going here. There we go. All right, and now we just fold all of that back and around, boop, and then again, boop, and then, come on, work with me, work with me. Work with me, Optimus. You can see what I'm trying to do is essentially make a rectangle so that the legs can fold in and become the calves. There we are. Now then, in terms of the arms, we're just going to fold these out, boop, and fold these to the side. We're going to take this arm piece and just rotate it around and then fold it down, put the bit on top back up, flip out the smokestacks, and then for the actual arm piece, fold this up, and then, oop, actually, trying to get a good grip on it. You gotta fold this down and then fold this up. There we are. And keep it going. Same verse on the other side. Boop, boop. All I'm gonna say is, everyone who's been complaining about leader class figures recently, I think Power of the Prime's Optimus, as good a toy as it is, it's gonna remind you just how crap the quality control and the build quality on these figures was starting to get. Here, let me zoom out a bit. So, here's the trailer without the Optimus block put in. To get these figures combined, I'm going to flip down this peg, put it back inside the torso, and then we're just going to slide it in. Boop. A good lock happens, and boom. It is nice and it's secure, can't get that out. If you want it back out, you actually have to pull down the switch here to pull it out. So, what they've taken is a piece of G1 Star Saber. That's how you actually lock in the smaller jet into the proper Star Saber robot mode, and they've brought it over to this Optimus Prime. The reason why I call out Star Saber specifically is because this Optimus was designed by the original Star Saber designer. How crazy is that? In full proper robot mode, this Optimus is amazing. A true spectacle. Probably the best looking Optimus ever put out to mass retail. That's how far I would go. But it has one major issue. You wanna know? Watch this. He's weak at the ankles. This, unfortunately, was very common back in the day. It seems as though this second run of the figure is still the same. These ankles are very, very, very weak. Not enough to where you just can't get him to stand up at all, but it's hard to get him into poses, and he will give way eventually. It wouldn't be surprising if I put this guy on my shelf, and maybe in a few days I hear a big crash from where he went down and probably took a couple of Transformers with him. My best piece of recommendation is actually to give him a very wide stance with his knees bent. For whatever reason, the ankles do a better job when they're more extended like this, whereas if you keep him moving straight up, it seems as though there's some type of issue with his balance. And looking at how thin the ankles are, that doesn't really surprise me. Hey, let's talk some articulation. We have a ball joint in the head, looks very good. You have a universal in the shoulder, works very well as well. You have a good single jointed elbow, nothing in the wrist, nothing in the waist. Universal at the hip, a good, that's a single knee, but look how deep that goes. And then here at the ankle, you can go side to side, and there's a little bit of rocker, and you can go back and forth. I thought at first maybe you could fold the ankles down and make that work. Yeah, it doesn't really work to push the ankles down, but they do lock into place. And if you do work with them, you can eventually coax this Optimus into a really nice pose. What helps out so much is that head sculpt. It's such a beautiful, beautiful look for Optimus. Even if the figure isn't what you'd expect from an Optimus, he's not exactly a perfect recreation of the cartoon, it doesn't stop the fact that if this was someone's first Optimus, or maybe an Optimus that's supposed to really kickstart a collection, this is great. It'd be a great play Optimus, it'd be an even better display Optimus. I love this guy because not only does he look good, he just feels good. There's something fun and energizing and unique about him. And it's crazy to think that literally inside his head is a whole other figure that's also pretty fun to play with. We do have those same accessories. Remember, we have the Matrix and the Cannon. For the Matrix, we can, boop, move this stuff out of the way, and then we're gonna open up this second panel, and it can go in right there. It is kind of funny to me that you have to open the cab windshield just to open yet another windshield, and the Matrix doesn't actually have a place to plug in, it can just kind of sit in there, but still, that's pretty neat. Now, he can't hold the Matrix in his hands, unfortunately. There's not even a good groove for him to do something like that. The Matrix really is just there for show, but it's kind of cool that it's there to begin with. I think this would have been the first generation's Optimus that actually came with the Matrix. Was there another one that I'm forgetting? No, I think this was the first one. Huh, cool. And then, of course, you also have the big rifle. Rifle works so much better for this figure. So much larger. Good look for this proper leader Optimus. Whereas it was a bit goofy for Orion, and you can see the ankles just gave way there. Here Optimus is alongside the Power of the Prime's leader class Optimal Optimus. I want to say this right now, because it's probably going to be the only time I ever get to have this little tangent. People constantly talk about how much they hate this figure. You are crazy. You are actually crazy. For Optimal Optimus, for how bad a design it is, and it is a bad design, that figure's amazing. Super fun, incredibly posable. It's better than this Optimus. My opinion, it is better than that Optimus. I feel like I just have to say that because I hear people constantly say that Optimus and Rodimus were such triumphs. What was that optimal Optimus? He was good as what he was. Okay, tangent over. Also, I was using Optimal Optimus's wing to hold Optimus up. As soon as I touched that figure, that Optimus fell down. All I'm saying is, Optimal Optimus isn't falling over. Here he is alongside a couple of other generations Optimuses. You have the Classics Optimus and the Earthrise Optimus. I'll be honest, out of these three, I think Classics Optimus is still my favorite. I mean, he's just such a great figure. I'll be curious what these three look like alongside the Commander Class Studio Series Optimus, though, as soon as we get him. This Optimus breaks my heart. I love him. I think his design is amazing. I think he looks so good. His transformation's clever. I love the Orion Pax. I think it is one of the most unique and one of the most special feeling Optimus Primes of all time. It should be a slam dunk on every front. But it's let down by weak ankles. I know it sounds like I'm trying to overblow the issue. This is the third time I've recorded the ending bit because Optimus kept falling down. There are ways to get around those ankles. There's ways to tighten them up. But in terms of just pulling this figure out of the box, unmodified, the ankles are a problem. And if I have to fix a figure to make it work, then that doesn't mean that that figure should get a pass. It means that I should hold it to more scrutiny as a reviewer, as a buyer, as a fan. This Optimus is great. It is special. It could be an amazing Optimus in anyone's collection. Just be aware that if you so much as touch him, that's going to happen.